Good day, students. Welcome to Mathgotserved.com. In this clip, we're going to be going over how to solve quadratic equations using the square root property. Question reads, the solutions to quantity x plus 4 squared minus 2 equals 7 are. So let's go ahead and solve this using the square root property. X plus 4 quantity square minus 2 equals 7. Alright, so there are different ways to solve a quadratic equation. You can use factoring, the quadratic formula, completing the square root property. You can use a graph. So one might wonder, how do you know that the square root property is the correct approach in this particular equation? Well, whenever you're given a quadratic equation, you want to ask yourself, how many variables do I have present? Okay. When you have just one variable and that one variable is squared, or you have just one variable attached with another number as a quantity squared, then you use the square root property. Okay? So if you take a look at this situation here, the only variable that we have as x is attached to a 4, to a constant, and is a squared quantity. So that automatically tells us that we're going to have to use the square root property. Had it been had another variable here like an x or something like that, then we'll have to consider other methods. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and apply the square root property here. To do this, the goal is to isolate the variable that's squared or that's been attached to another constant, and it is a quantity square. And then we use the square root property to eliminate the square. Alright, so the goal here is to isolate x plus 4 raised to the second power. To do that, we're going to add 2 to both sides of the equation to isolate the square. When we do that, this equation is going to yield quantity x plus 4 square equals 9. Now we're going to use the square property. Basically, to get rid of this square, we're going to use the inverse operation, which is square root. So you square root both sides of the equation. Alright, whenever you take the square root of a square, you end up with the absolute value of the quantity x plus 4. And on the right side, the square root of 9 is 3. Alright, so using our knowledge of absolute value equations, if we drop the absolute value brackets, we'll replace it with plus or minus x plus 4 equals 3. So we want to get x isolated, we need to get rid of this plus or minus first, and then the 4, and then we'll be done. Alright, so to get rid of the plus or minus, we basically divide both sides of the equation with plus or minus 1. Alrighty, when we do that, it's going to yield x plus 4, the plus or minus is gone to the other side. X plus 4 equals plus or minus 3. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to split this equation, okay, because we have plus or minus. So this will enable us to set the equation x plus 4 into the negative component, which is negative 3. And we have x plus 4 equals to 3. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and solve these two equations, and that will give us the solutions to this quadratic equation. X plus 4 equals negative 3. We're going to add 4 to both sides, actually subtract 4 from both sides of this equation, and that will yield x equals minus 3 minus 4. Same sign, add and keep this sign, negative 7. And in the second equation, subtract 4 from both sides. And then when you do that, you have x equals, 4 is add up to 0. 3 minus 4, different signs, subtract and keep the sign of the bigger, negative 1. Alright, so there goes the solutions to the quadratic equation. So our solutions are x equals negative 7 and x equals negative 1. So the answer to this question is option number 3. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. Don't forget to help support our channel. Tons of support resources can be found on mathgotserved.com or in the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.